how I made my BAROLO 2 from looking like this to this. So I know a lot of people watch Rise Magic. I do too.
Cardistry won!
And one of Chandler's favorite card flourishes is BAROLO 2 by Nikolaj Peterson. There's also a demo of BAROLO 2 on the Anyone Worldwide channel by Nikolaj himself, and both of those tutorials are great, some better in different ways. However, they don't go over some things, like some really minor subtleties that I had to figure out on my own. So basically, I am going to give you some tips and some small tricks, and I think they'll make your performances look better. Also, this is not a tutorial, so I'm not going over every single small little mechanic. I'm just going over other small subtleties. Now, I am not claiming that I have the best performance, because I definitely do not. As you saw in the intro, hopefully, I greatly improved mine. And the last thing I want to say before I get started with the 5 tips is that I know cardistry is all about having your own style and performing flourishes however you want to. So basically what I'm saying is, you do not have to listen to what I say in this video. You can perform BAROLO 2 however you want. I personally just like to perform moves very similarly that I can to the creator, because most likely however the creator does it, it's gonna look the best, just as long as it's smooth. Yeah, let's go. Now my first tip with BAROLO 2 is about the opener of the flourish. We already know that starts in Sybil position basically, but the finger that you contact the middle packet with depends on your preference. So what I used to do was I would break off with the middle finger on the middle packet, and then I would strip it out, still gripping it with the middle finger and thumb. And then once I rotate it to where it's facing like this, then I would grip it with my ring finger. And that way, whenever I re-grip the packet, it squares up the packet. Because this rotating out the packet tends to bevel the deck. And if you re-grip it, then it squares up that packet. But now, whenever I do it, I grip it with my ring finger on the corner, like this, and I continue to strip it out and continue with the move. And I like to do that because, again, I don't have to worry about re-gripping it, and also it's gripped on the corner, which makes it easier to pivot the packet. So you can grip that middle packet that you strip out with your middle finger or ring finger based on your preference of choosing to re-grip or not re-grip, basically. Now, tip 2 is something that Nikolaj does, but Chandler doesn't do. Whenever he strips out this middle packet, he also moves his scissor cut. Now, whenever I say he moves his scissor cut, what he does, instead of doing just a normal scissor cut, he actually does this little motion right here. So your thumb is on one side and your index finger is contacting the short edge, but then they basically switch spots. Now, I know some beginner cardists or small-handed cardists may struggle with the scissor cut, but I do have a video going a little bit more in depth, and the link to that video will be somewhere up here. To move the scissor cut, you move your thumb up just a little bit to where it's out of the way, and then you're gonna push with your middle finger and ring finger on this bottom packet over enough until your thumb can contact the short edge, or your thumb doesn't even have to contact the short edge, it can just kind of hover. Or if you want to go extreme, you can do this little thing, which you're basically just moving your thumb and the bottom packet even more. But basically that's how you move the scissor cut, and then you do a normal scissor cut closer later on the flourish. So what Nikolaj does in the full BAROLO 2, he breaks off into the Z Sybil grip. He pulls out the middle packet and starts rotating it while he moves his scissor cut both at the same time. And then he continues on with the flourish. He pulls it out, the middle packet, while he moves the thumb. So in speed, it's kind of like that. Or at least for me it is. So pull out while you move the scissor cut, and you just move it by moving your thumb up a little bit out of the way and pushing with these two fingers. And then normal scissor cut like that. Tip 3 is to make sure you're doing a full rotation with the packets and your wrists. So instead of, for example, just rotating that about not all the way and rotating this maybe like that much, that doesn't look very good. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically for like that packet, you need to rotate it all the way until it basically can't go any further and your index finger is kind of like touching it. So it shouldn't be about here. It should be there. Not here, there. And then of course your wrists need to be doing some turning, so that just helps make the rotations look better, look smoother, make the move look more flashy, more impressive and stuff. Full rotations. Now also for this full rotation, the amount of like how tightly and stuff you are gripping the packets needs to be loose enough to where the packets can of course rotate, but not too loose to where the packets will start falling apart, of course. And also, like I said, it does help to grip one of the packets at the corner. So like this packet, you can see it's gripped on the corners mostly. And also one last thing with the rotation is to try to keep it a little bit compact. Don't actually take these two pieces apart, because these are like two separate pieces like this. So don't, like, after you rotate this, take it super far away to where you have to bring it back to close. So not like that. Keep it a little bit more compact. See how basically this horizontal packet is like right on top of this scissor cut packet, instead of taking it away and then putting it back. So yeah, that's tip 3. Tip number 4 is the closer. So basically the closer is when you switch the packets. Now for Chandler's tutorial, what he does for the closer, he grips it kind of like this between his index finger and middle finger, and then he lays it down about like that. And whenever Nikolaj does it, he grips it kind of like this, so mostly his middle finger is doing more of the gripping, and then he rotates that around his thumb, and that causes the wrist to turn up a little bit because of course your hand can only go so far down. So that causes your wrist to turn just a little bit when you close it, and I like having that just a little bit of wrist turn in your non-dominant hand. So he's gripping it with his index and thumb, and then he grips it with his middle finger, and then you rotate that around your thumb, and your wrist comes up to close it. Now obviously you kind of have to watch the demo to get a better view. I prefer it better. You may like Chandler's closer better, and that's alright too. And tip number 5 is all about timing and smoothness. Now there are different parts to this. So the first part is that multiple things are happening at once. For example, once you grip down here with your thumb, you're pulling out the middle packet while also moving the scissor cut. So those are 2 things. Okay, and then you're rotating this long packet while executing a scissor cut. So those are 2 more things. And then while you're closing the scissor cut, you're pushing onto this packet. So those are 2 more things. Okay. You grip and do another scissor cut like motion while you turn this over. 2 more things. And then finish that scissor cut while you re-grip and close that. 2 more things. So yeah, basically multiple things happen at once. 2 things, 2 things, 2 things, 2 things, kind of, 2 things. Probably not the best explained. Now for a specific example, what I used to do was I would strip this out, rotate this packet first, and then do a scissor cut, and then continue with the flourish. That was bad. Please make sure you're doing both the pivoting and scissor cut at the same time. Okay, so it's not this and then this. They happen at the same time. Same time, same time, same time, same time. Okay, and then the last thing for timing and smoothness is just to give you an example of something else Nikolaj does. So if you look at the Anyone Worldwide demo, you can see kind of the speed of how Nikolaj performs his BAROLO 2. This flourish is so smooth that you can do it at just about any speed and it still looks really good. But what Nikolaj does is he starts a little bit slower and then he closes it a little bit quickly. And what Chandler does is he stays at a pretty consistent speed the entire flourish. Now you can choose whichever one you want. I probably tend to stick with a consistent speed. It just needs to be smooth. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my other card tutorial troubleshooting video on Lego Love. Is also a move by Nikolaj that was unintentional. Yeah, be sure again to like and subscribe and work on your BAROLO too, and I'll see you next time. What did I just do there?